All right, we're going to do that one more time so y'all can act like y'all like yourselves. How y'all feeling tonight? That was close. A couple of y'all still feel like y'all not really rocking with yourself today. So we're going to do this one more time. This is going to be the last time. It might be 4 if y'all mess this one up. All right, 1, 2, 3. How y'all feeling tonight? Yeah, that's what I like to hear. I want to come back to the Museum of History and Culture, so I want them to hear your enthusiasm, all right? Cool. My name is Chauncey Jenkins, but if you know me through rapping, you probably know me as Chance Fisher. Fisher like Bobby Fischer, Fischer. Please spell it right because that's how the check's clear. All right? And I have the honor and the pleasure of introducing our moderator for our next panel, Black Women Are the Blueprint, this evening. A good friend of mine, goes back way, actually knows me by my name, Chauncey, so, shout out to that. Dr. Kaylin K. Coghill is an award-winning speaker, educator, practitioner, and organizer from Northside, Richmond, Virginia. Shout out to Northside. Whose work spans community organizing, poetry, and interdisciplinary scholarship. They are a trust and safety professional, associate director of the Black Girlhood Fellowship Program at Justice for Black Girls, and an adjunct instructor at several universities. Kay's courses tackle critical issues such as misogynoir, race, feminism, girlhood studies, literature, Black popular culture, and hip-hop feminism. Their research, highlighted by major media outlets and prestigious institutions, focuses on the digital resistance of Black women in hip-hop, harm reduction strategies against misogynoir, that's a big word for Elmo, and online gender-based violence, digital Black girlhood. They are a Megan Thee Stallion enthusiast and 804 to the core. Welcome, Dr. K. Coghill.
My name necklace attached, y'all, my bad. Can y'all hear me? Yeah. Okay, again, I'm Dr. K, and I'm so excited to be here with you all tonight. I want to bring out our feedback. Okay, I'm going to bring out our amazing speakers for tonight. So first up, we have someone who was one of my former students, Justice. Justice R., formerly known as Justice Robinson, is an interdisciplinary, creative, emerging artist from the West End of Richmond, Virginia. Okay? She is widely recognized for her contributions to the city's music scene as a recording artist and songwriter. Justice began her journey early, releasing her debut EP, Mixed Emotions, in 2018 at just 15 years old, while attending our very own Thomas Jefferson High School in the West End. What began as a passion quickly evolved into a disciplined and intentional career. Since then, she has released multiple projects, singles, and collaborative features, steadily developing her sound while expanding her influence within Virginia's hip-hop ecosystem. Now 24, Justice is a student at Reynolds Community College, pursuing an associate's degree in media production and liberal arts, and she's an amazing student, by the way. She is also a Mellon Research Fellow exploring creative identity, cultural ecosystems, and the systemic forces that shape artistic expression in urban communities. Beyond music, she is the founder of a creative multimedia agency dedicated to feedback. Yeah. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right. Beyond music, she is the founder of a creative multimedia agency dedicated to helping artists and content creators monetize, market, and strategically position their creativity. As an independent artist, Justice has intentionally studied the business behind the art, immersing herself in recording engineering, photography, videography, media, strategy, and artist development to build sustainability and ownership for both herself and others. Her work exists at the intersection of culture, education, and ownership, with a focus on strengthening Richmond's creative economy and preserving Virginia's hip-hop legacy. We love to see it. Whether through music, media, or mentorship, Justice is the committed person to building infrastructure that empowers artists to move with clarity, confidence, and independence. Please welcome Justice.
How y'all doing? It's a blessing to be here. Y'all look so beautiful out there.
Thank you, Justice. Next up, we have another Virginia native, Farrah Fawx. Farrah Fawx is a Los Angeles based recording artist, songwriter, and TV personality who hails from Richmond, Virginia. Fox was raised by unwavering women in a home filled with sounds of jazz, R&B, and legends like Anita Baker, Louis Armstrong, and Ella Fitzgerald. I know that's right. This allowed her to create a foundation that shaped her genre bending style. Although Although rap music was off limits during her childhood, Farrah eventually gravitated towards hip hop, studying the lyrical mastery of Dipset, Lil Wayne, and Lauryn Hill. That's a good combination. What began as poetry soon evolved into sharp, narrative driven raps, and by 15, she was already making a name for herself, rap battling classmates and dropping her first mixtape, which she sold at the Richmond area malls and gas stations. While studying communication and music business production at Old Dominion University, shout out to the Monarchs, and listening and interning at Timberland's Thomas Crown Studios, she caught the attention of rapper Rick Ross at Richmond's 92.1 station, leading to co-sign and collaborate. After graduating, Fox moved to New York and made a name for herself on the underground rap scene while collaborating with collectives such as TDE and ASAP under the artist name Audra the Rapper. In 2016, Farrah joined the cast of NBC and Oxygen's docuseries Sisterhood of Hip Hop alongside other female rap artists such as MC Lyte, Sia, Diamond, and Bia. The pathway to television opened the door for Fox to write and place music for TV soundtracks such as Insecure, Grownish, Netflix, HBO, and eventually started songwriting for major label artists. Drawing from her time spent in New York and abroad, Fox crafts a sound that resonates with those seeking thrill, empowerment, and creativity, connecting seamlessly across underground clubs and main stages alike. Inspired by the icons like Missy Elliott and the UK's Shy FX, Farrah's sound merges the pulsing rhythms of UK dance, house, jungle, and drum and bass with a bold southern edge, and all anchored by her signature rasp and magnetic energy. Her music does make you dance. I can attest to that. Farrah has collaborated with artists such as Ab-Soul, Tidra Moses, Raheem Devon, Duckworth, Rochelle Jordan, artist and DJ Alana, and many others. With sharp lyrics, infectious beats, and fiercely expressive energy, Farrah Fawx is a cultural bridge and a standout emerging voice in today's music landscape. Let's give it up for Richmond's own Farrah Fawx. How y'all doing? Thank you so much. And last but not least, we have a legend amongst us, everyone. I'm going to bring out someone who is a pioneer in not only the Virginia hip hop scene, but also for all hip hop artists, in my opinion, that we see today, especially black women. The Lady of Rage is Virginia great, from Farmville to be exact. Exactly. Who is a multi hyphenate powerhouse. She is a chart topping rapper, singer, and actress, best known for her collaborations with several other Death Row Records artists, including Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, on their seminal albums, The Chronic and Doggy Style. The Lady of Rage has been described as one of the most skillful female MCs with a mastery of flow and hardcore lyrics. In 1994, The Lady of Rage released the hit single Afro Puffs, which reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot Rap Singles chart. The song not only empowered women, but her signature Afro Puffs became an icon in their own right. No one does an Afro Puff like the Lady of Rage. Her debut solo album, Necessary Roughness, was released in June 1997 and peaked at number 7 on the Billboard R&B album chart and 32 on the Billboard 200 albums chart. In 1998, she decided, I want to do my first love, acting. And she has appeared on Kenan and Kel, The Steve Harvey Show from 97 to 2000, and one of her most iconic roles that a lot of you probably know her as is Baby D from Next Friday. Honestly, she was the funniest in the movie, if we go keep it a buck. She is also still acting to this day, with her most recent appearance being in The Equalizer. In 2008, Rage was a part of the femme, Females Earning Money, movement along with fellow female rappers Babs of the Band, Lady Luck, and Emil. In 2008, she performed with MC Lyte, Yo-Yo, and Salt and Pepper at the Best BET Hip Hop Awards. The Lady of Rage has not only been a pioneer in the industry, but she has also shown women in hip hop how to prioritize all of their talents and to really do what works for them. Please give it up for the Lady of Rage.
I rock rough and stuff with my Afro punk. Hey! All right.
I am so happy to be sitting on this stage with you all today. This is something that we have been planning for quite some time, and we are just so excited to have legends here with us who are actually showing us that Virginia has it going on, okay? So before we jump into the interactive piece, I want to start with a particular question that I think everyone in here would want to know. And we're going to start with you, Lady of Rage. As a kid growing up in Farmville, Virginia, and both of y'all in Richmond, Virginia, who were the people or what were the moments in hip hop that inspired you to want to become an artist?
Well, growing up in Farmville, it's a small town, so I didn't hear any rap at all until I went to Texas one summer to visit my mother and my grandfather. So in Farmville, the radio station was WFLO, and it was country music or pop, top 100, stuff like that. And we used to watch Hee Haw, stuff like that. So I wasn't getting my inspiration from those guys. But so when I went to Texas one summer, I heard Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and it intrigued me. I was already writing poetry. Now I'm listening to these guys like poetry with music. And then when I got home, a radio station came to Farmville, WPAK, and it was a black radio station. And so they started playing more black music. And when we would come to Richmond, I got to hear WJJS. They played all types of music. So coming back and forth to Richmond and going to Texas is when I discovered hip hop. And Grandmaster Flash, Sequence, Sugar Hill Gang were the inspirations for me. And it was on from there.
Love that.
Yes.
So with me, growing up, as you mentioned earlier, my mother didn't allow me to listen to hip hop in the house, but I could listen to R&B. And you know, in the 90s, there was always a rap verse on an R&B album. And I remember Usher, his My Way CD had a verse from Lil' Kim. It was one of the raunchiest verses. Nobody talks about it, but it's called Just Like Me. And I found myself gravitating to that verse all the time. And then I would go to school, and we used to trade mixtapes like they were Pokemon cards growing up. And somebody gave me Diplomatic Immunity by Dipset. And I love Jaja. I love Jaja's voice. I loved her aggression. I loved how, to me, it was a new way to receive femininity. And I just liked everything about that. So my community sneaking me CDs. And then once I told my mother, you know, she poured into me and would take me to shows. We go to New York. I go see 106 in Park. I definitely think watching 106 in Park growing up had a huge impact on implementing and making it permanent that this is what I wanted to do.
You up next, Justice.
Okay, so for me, I would say that music just was around in my household, and like very, very different types of genres, very vast genres, hip hop, R&B. My dad's from Jamaica, Queens, so he would play a lot of reggae. Um, and I don't know, it just always kind of been a thing where music just spoke to me. And growing up, my dad and I, he taught me how to sing my name. Like, that's how I spell my name was Justice. That's my name and it's for me. And then it's like, from there, it's like doing that. And then he made a song for my vowels, all of that. You know what I'm saying? And just like being immersed in the music. And then Richmond is just so rich a culture. It was natural. It was natural. And my parents were extremely supportive. I was in the studio by the age of like 8, 9 years old. I have a video on YouTube where I was at the elementary school talent show performing an original song. So this is kind of like innate for me. You know what I'm saying? Like just hearing music, being a part of it, hip hop, R&B, everything. I just fell in love with it, from songwriting to just performing, just everything that it goes into being an artist per se.
I love all of your responses because I think it's important to point out that if hip hop is going to find you, whether or not you try to find it or not, right? Each of you talked about how it was either introduced to you or you stumbled upon it or someone snuck it to you at school with a mixtape and you were like, wait a minute, this is for me. Like, I can fit into this space. And I think that's really important. And that leads us into our interactive portion where we have some images and videos, and I've curated some questions around what we are going to be seeing on the screen. And you can put up the first slide. So as we go into this first section, we're talking about what's known and unknown. I'm just going to keep going. So the first slide shows MC Shy Rock and Roxanne Shante. And they have very, very similar stories of getting into hip hop at a very young age, really setting the foundation, right? You can go to the next slide and you can click the first video. Competition to be because we are the ones, they are the ones. I am the one with the motion, me, the fucking ball got rhymes galore. I'm the plus one shine, I'm down below. Rock well, don't stop my battle, just get off the mic. And you can go to the second video. When you're ready to rock. Better listen very close, cause I don't say this every day. My name is Roxanne, and they call me Shante. But every time of that I say I rhyme, just like a disser. It ain't nothing your MCs when I miss them. So can't go if you think you cute, you think it's alright. That's why you said it in a language so y'all wouldn't have to bite. And you can stop the video. It make no sense. You thought it was cute, yeah. So this history is more known today because of social media than it was 10 to 15 years ago. And I know this because when I teach my hip hop feminism class and I ask my students, who is the first female rapper you've ever heard of? They don't talk about anyone before maybe 95, right? And I think that it's important for us to discuss what is known and unknown about the beginning of women's contributions to hip hop from what you know, what you've seen, and what you've heard. And anyone can start with that.
Because I'm the pioneer here. Okay, so for me, hearing Angie Stone and well, Angie B, that's who she was, and rest in peace, and Sequence, Cheryl the Pearl, and I forgot the other one. Blondie, how could I forget that? It just slipped my mind a little bit. But yeah, hearing them and then hearing MC Shy Rock and Pebbly Pooh and Roxanne Shante and Sparky D and the real Roxanne and Antoinette and MC Light and Yo Yo and then some people consider Blondie, not Blondie from Sequence, but Blondie from Blondie, it was a song called Rapture, a white girl. And they, was saying like she was the first female rapper. That's debatable, not my opinion, but, yeah. But so it was going on since then. And that was, I believe, MTV's first introduction into rap. It wasn't Run DMC that were the first rap artists. Well, they were the first rap artists, but wasn't the first rap song. So I think Rapture was considered the first rap song. So even going back there, it's a legacy. It's bricklayers that were a part of the structure of hip hop. And it's just basic research, basic history lesson. Where did this come from? Who came before me? Who paved this way that I don't have to walk through these vines? It's a little easier for me because of what Roxanne did, because of what Sha-Rock did, because of what Pebbly Pooh did. It was a little easier for Light and Latifah and Yo-Yo and myself, which makes it a little easier for Little Kim and Foxy Brown and Remy Ma and Queen Pen and so on and so forth. What makes it a little easier for you guys right here, you ladies right here, and on and on. And they're going to make it easier for the next up and coming. You're passing the torch. And it's just a little history. Just go back. Where did this all come from? And just show respect. So.
All right. Do y'all want to add anything, or you want me to move on to the next question? All right. Thank you for sharing that. I definitely think that doing your history lessons is important, right? Especially because a lot of our history is not always documented the same way as Blondie, who wrote Rapture, who we don't talk about in my class, but I'm just saying. So I think that it is very important to have intergenerational conversations, right? To talk to people who were alive then, people who were doing the research, going to the shows, at the parties, right? So they can tell you, oh, no, it wasn't them. It was them. And making sure we're amplifying that these people came first. So we're going to go to the next slide. And these particular three women, I know you might know one of them. I don't know. You might know. One might be on the stage. I don't know. So for me, my mom was always really big into music. And before I could listen to Lil' Kim, I had to listen to all of y'all music first, right? She was very serious about it. She said, you need to know, right? Because she wanted me to have a full understanding of the fact that Black women can talk about anything they want to talk about. They don't have to just talk about one thing. So you can go to the next slide in particular, and you can press play.
I never played, so before first grade, I skipped the playpen. Pen game was playing before I learned to tie my laces. Rage is where the plague is, no containing. Sick with the spit that I spit, I inflict contagion. Inhale the ether. They can't breathe easy when I'm around, I leave them a little wheezy like the son of Sita. I'm Chiquita, bananas. Y'all monkeys wouldn't bust grapes. I roll with gorillas for real, my nigga in bandits. Planet of the apes, rise. All hell, Queen Kong peons that be coming soft and not the stuffing out your ding dongs. I'm in it to win it till I become the hottest chick that run the third rock from the sun. Lyrically, you will be a fool to fight with the Robin Givens and spitting shit. I'm cool to mics. Yikes, I'm going in like a lifer. Step into your radius and decipher your cipher.
And you can stop the video.
Look.
You know, for those who are actual hip-hop enthusiasts, we all have our favorite freestyles, and this just happens to be one of mine. So I may be a little biased, but this is one of my favorites. So the first question for this section, which is calling the thing a thing, right? When you first came on the scene, what moved you to speak truth to power, and did you experience any pushback? I'm talking to you. Mm-hmm.
Truth to power. So it's about what you've seen, what you experience, what you know. And for me, I've always been I'm not a girly girl. I'm a tomboy. And growing up, like my grandmother cleaned the house, iron the curtains, and I didn't want to do that. Grandma, can I rake the yard? Can I chop the wood? Can I cut the grass? I didn't want to do all of those things. So in the neighborhood, playing with the guys gave me, and doing those things, I had a tougher exterior. Mm-hmm. So once I started rapping, it was a guy's thing. To get that acceptance and that respect for them, I had to come just as hard or harder. Mm-hmm. So for me, it became easy to fit in with them because I'm one of the guys. Mm-hmm. And with girls, I felt uncomfortable because they were always like, oh, she look at her shoes and she don't have on this and she don't, oh, her grandma make her clothes, and did, and yes. So with that, when I got into it and being underestimated, walking into a cipher or walking up and guys looking at me like, here she come, who is she? And then after I rhyme, and for them to say, who wrote that? I wrote that. Listen. And then it was a whole total different respect. And back then it was like a lot of guys wrote for the girls in the beginning. But for me, that's always been my power, my superpower, the ability to write and to rival you, if not destroy you. Exactly. So that was my truth to power.
Yes, and I want to segue into a question for you two based off of what the Lady of Rage said, is that how has what the Lady of Rage talked about evolved from your vantage point? And do you find it to be more acceptable now to come hard, to rap about what you want to rap about now that we're moving into our next 50 years of hip hop?
I definitely feel the spectrum of what we've become accustomed to hearing from female rappers is more expansive. When I first started studying rap, when I was becoming a rapper, I definitely felt it was either I was aggressive. I was studying New York rappers. Like I said, I was listening to Dipset, you know? I was listening to Lil Wayne. Of course, I was listening to Lauryn Hill, too, but she was the anomaly for me. So it was like I either had to be aggressive or I had to be overtly sexual. And in my young age, I just didn't align with that. So I was definitely studying more masculine examples. And I feel where we are now, you have to dig a little. You have to, dig past what is commercialized and what's marketed to you. But it's tons of examples of fire artists from No Name, to so many artists who can give you more of their authentic expression. And I've even found that within my journey of I'm mixing rap and drum and bass. I'm mixing rap and ghetto tech and house music. And I didn't have many examples of that growing up, but I do now, whether it's paying attention to the UK dance scene or, social media helped bridge the gap. Even me just traveling and being intentional on finding artists within hip hop that didn't just look like what I was used to growing up. And shout out to every example and, every mentor and every pioneer that I had. But definitely, like you said, those that paved the way have been able to show in their authenticity that I could do the same. So to answer your question, I definitely think that what we're getting now from female rap and what we have been provided more of a safe space for with social media, being able to connect us to people to relate, and whether it's not on the radio, being able to see like, nah, talk that shit, I like that. Talk about reading books. There's an artist named No Name out of Chicago. I love her. She has a book club. She rap about the books she reads, Yeah, it's definitely a safer space for what we can talk about.
For me, I would say it was definitely challenging starting off because there's not a lot of representation of masculine presenting women in the industry. So that led to, of course, me leaning more towards listening to more masculine music. And then when it comes down to like how I approached it in the first place, I knew I'm so non-traditional, like so non-traditional. And I mean that in the realest sense. And my music came from crossing the hip hop with the melodic sound that I had because I started off singing, and I just knew that I had a flow as well, and it came from just practicing that, and over time starting to see how more people come in and it's different sounds, different looks. I would definitely say that it has got more expansive as far as to what women discuss on the mics now. It doesn't just have to be sexualized. It doesn't just have to be uh, talking about the street life and things of that nature. You can be vulnerable. You can tell your true story, and I think that it's important now that we have that safe space, because I feel like for a lot of us, I know music started for me as a safe space, a space where I could share my innermost personal thoughts, and it started to become a thing where I'm like, okay, this is a talent. I could share this with the world, and I'm sure other people, other women, can relate to that as well. So I think it's beautiful that we have generations of hip hop right here, and to hear how the sound has progressed over time and evolved over time, it's an amazing thing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And I think that one thing that stood out to me that you all touched on is the fact that although it felt masculine at time, right? I had to listen to the masculine artists, right? I had to basically sun them to let them know, like, I'd rap as good as you and better than you. Is that the girlies right now are penning, right? They are battle rapping. They are really showing people that, like, we can rap about anything. I can rap about the days of the week. I can rap about going to the laundromat. I can rap about books. I can rap about raking leaves and mowing the lawn, right? And it's because we are multifaceted, right? We're not a monolith. And it is important for hip hop to keep evolving like that, especially for Black women, because a lot of the stereotypes that are talked about when it comes to us pigeonhole us into these particular boxes of who we have to be in order to be successful. And it showed that that's just not how that is. So we're going to move to the next part. You can go to the next slide. And we have some images here. And you can go to the next slide and press play on the video.
Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly, super duper fly. Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly, super duper.
All right, right? Another Virginia legend. So on the first screen, I had a collage of Missy Elliott at award shows, and then I had another collage of Lil' Kim. And Missy Elliott and Lil' Kim have been referred to as people who have experimented with style, fashion, and expression, right? From Lil' Kim and her provocative style, to wearing multicolored wigs in the Crush on You video, right? To her being a Barbie in the How Many Licks video, right? And Missy Elliott being a vanguard in talking about provocative things but wearing a trash bag, right? So the first question is for you, Farrah. How does womanhood play a role in a rapper's fashion?
I love that. And I think those are two of the best examples, especially Missy, because Missy was just this ball of visual energy. I think it literally can be whatever we want to be. I feel like the woman, we're second to God, we're the next creator. We create life. We literally can create. And seeing what they've done visually, seeing how we can treat our body as a canvas within our medium, within art. And I loved the balance and the marriage between like an oral art form, but a visual, fashion makes it tangible. I feel like you can't reach out and touch music, but once you see it and you can touch it, I love how, especially Missy has done fashion. I think it was June Ambrose that was putting her in the trash bags and styling her.
She said they had her walk to a gas station and they filled her up with air and she had to wobble back to the set. So she was walking down the street in a trash bag.
Innovative for sure. Yeah, no, it's fun. I don't know if anybody, I see a few people I know here from when I went to ODU. I used to walk around campus. I used to staple or punch holes in CDs and wear them as earrings. And I had like a purple asymmetric bang, and I used to just play with it. It was just another form in addition to music, and I just didn't care. I was just trying whatever felt like it complemented the music, whatever I could feel like, what would I look like? What would this music look like, you know? And I think it's a playground.
Yeah, I also play around with my style a lot. My high school pictures, I was wearing giant bows before Lady Gaga, the original. Okay. So this next question is for Justice. How does your own intersectional identities, gender, sexual orientation in the region that you're from, being from a urban city, influence your hip hop fashion? And what are your thoughts on who's accepted and who isn't because of those things?
That's a great question, because a lot of my early career started with struggling with that, honestly, because it's like, okay, you kind of too soft to rap, but you know too hard to be soft. And then it's like, where do I put you? You got your you know what I'm saying. They used to say like you're extremely talented, you got this sound, you got this look, but I just don't know where to place you. And I find oftentimes, even now, they try to put me in a box. It's all about labels, you know what I'm saying. And that was one of the most challenging experience that have had in the industry, and overcoming that is still a challenge because sometimes even us as women, we already kind of have certain stigmas against us and stereotypes in the industry. And then coming up as a woman that's masculine presenting is like, I'm not raunchy, I'm not selling this, I'm not doing that, I'm appealing to and catering to the women. So it just was different. And my style is just different. And I think, like I said, the hardest part is probably having to, learn to be in your authenticity and live in your truth, because so many people will try to box you in and tell you, no, you rap, make rap music, you sing, make this, you're a woman, dress like this, talk like this, do that. So I think the main thing for me, like I said, authenticity, like that's key, and that's like my main message. And I feel like through who I am as an individual and through my music, that's what I like to express.
Thank you so much. And I have one more question for you, Rage, but I'm just going to say something quickly. I think that what you touch on, Justice, is very important, especially as you being the youngest person on the stage, right? Is that your generation in particular has done a very good job of showing us what it looks like to be authentic by any means necessary, right? And I think that we are witnessing a resurgence of Black women, girls, non-binary, gender expansive people being comfortable with playing around with style and not feeling boxed in, right? So if you want to wear this one day, okay. If you want to wear this the next day, that's fine too. And it's also pushing the narrative for how Black women are accepted in different industries, right? So I don't look like the average professor. I got neck tattoos, face tattoos, hand tattoos, but I got a PhD, right? So
That part.
with that being said, I know that I have to be my authentic self. So when I am meeting other Black women and girls, they know that you don't have to fit into what society is telling you have to look like to do the things that you love to do. And that takes me to you, Rage, because like I told you earlier, like I remember seeing your hair in particular, and I remember telling my mom, you and DeBrat, I was like, I want my hair to look like their hair, right? Because I was just like, because I didn't have relaxed when I was little, so I was like, my hair do that, right? So, and my mom was like, all right, girl. So my question for you are, outside of your iconic Afro puffs, what ways have you used style to express your artistry and like, stayed with your style? Because you've always had a very unique style. Like I could see you from a mile away and know it's you, right? It's very signature to you. So what ways have you done that? And then why did you make those choices?
I made those choices to separate myself from others. I didn't want to blend in. I want to break the mold. I don't want to fit into the mold. I wanted to break it. And started off with, I believe in high school, I remember one time having two pair of the same shoes but different colors, and I decided, this was before Belle Biv DeVoe did it. I wore two different colored shoes, and people laughed at me and looked at me and everything like, oh, what's she doing? But to me, it was me being me. Me, I used to want to fit in. I used to want people to like me. I used to want people to just be my friend. And it wasn't like that. So once I graduated and left, I was cool with being myself. And it seemed like once I was a loner, that's when everybody gravitated towards me. Not only that, but because I could rap as well. So they gravitated towards me, and I started just doing my own thing to just be different. And with the Afro Puffs, I was going through a photo album, and a cousin of mine, Hope, she had some Afro Puffs, and I was like, wow, I could wear my hair like that. And I remember one of my friends like, why are you wearing your hair all nappy and stuff like that? And then I've always been drawn to blackness, black power, black revolution, black anything strong. So if my crown is what you call nappy, it's me, it's us. Don't deny it, try it. So I I just went with the puffs. And I remember Dr. Dre, we were in a limo one night, and we were coming from somewhere, and he was sitting across from me, and he just grabbed my hair, and he was like, that was genius. So it separated me from everybody else, to my own detriment, because I can't wear another style. It's like, I want braids, I want locks, I want to do things but no, every time it's like, where the puffs? So they're more popular than I am. But I did it because I wanted to stand out.
Thank you for sharing that, and also letting us know that we need to let you wear different hairstyles.
Let
We're
me,
sorry.
please.
We're sorry. We're sorry. All right, y'all moving forward. Don't be asking where the puffs at. Okay? So you can go to the next slide. So I want to talk about these people on the screen real quickly. You might know two of them, but on the left-hand side at the top, we have Justice, we have Farrah Fawx. Right here, we have a queer rapper named Brax here from Richmond who passed away a while ago. And I put her on here because she really was a pioneer for queer rappers and had a very, very unique sound. And her impact is still with us to this day. At the bottom left, we have Tierra Whack, who is clearly a child of Missy Elliott, if y'all know anything about Tierra Whack. And we have Rico Nasty, who is from PG County, Maryland. And then we have my girl Megan Thee Stallion, whose career has been interesting to watch because it seems now that she is growing more into who she wants to be rather than with the industry. And this is her Traumazine album, which talks a lot about her depression and anxiety and the things that she's been through. So you can go to the next slide. So these two themes are going to merge together. So the top left, there was a podcast that no longer exists called Louder Than a Riot, where they talked about Black women in hip hop, and they interviewed Trina. They talked about the Megan Thee Stallion case. They talked to different people in the industry about their experiences as Black women in hip hop. And this is an article written by Taylor Crumpton, who is a Black journalist, about misogynoir and how people joked about what happened to Megan Thee Stallion. And then down here is another article by Amy DuBois Barnett, who talks about how it has been a minefield of misogyny for Black women in hip hop. And the basis of my research is focusing on misogynoir, and that's the anti-Black racism and sexism that Black women experience, right? Because what we experience, although it may not be documented in the research as of yet, happens to us more than anyone else. And I got the data to prove it because I've done the research, right? So these are the two questions that I have. The first question is talking about the resurgence of Black women in hip hop. And anyone can take this question. Historically, how have women in hip hop been silenced or judged for what they choose to rap about, how they choose to present themselves, and have you ever experienced this?
I'll speak from a personal example. I was living in New York um, and was shopping a project I had. And shopping, it means walking in the labels, shaking hands, doing the press play for the big wigs and the suits, what have you. And I remember somebody said, "You don't look how you sound." And that's a problem for me. And it was a problem for them, they were saying. And it's because I'm a thicker woman, but I wasn't rapping about it. I wasn't talking about it. I wasn't talking about what my body looks like, what my body's capable of, you know. I wasn't sexualizing myself, just hasn't been an interest. I feel like I have other things to talk about it, but I listen to artists when they do because per. But I just wasn't on that project. And they said, "You don't look how you sound. You look good. You need to talk about it more." You know, I've experienced rooms and opportunities be non-existent, I guess, because I didn't fit the expectation of how somebody thought a thicker black woman should fit within this medium. And I've seen the disappointment, and I've seen, you know, the opportunities not be what they could be. But I've also experienced so many opportunities that are for me, you know. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about this, all of us upstairs, about how Virginia artists, something in the water in the sense that we are all persevering. Anybody you know who's made it out of Virginia, still in Virginia, in this room, in a classroom, somebody you know, we're all persevering. And those conversations in those rooms have never been a huge highlight in my story. I probably wouldn't even think about it if it wasn't for this question, because it doesn't define me. It didn't dim anything for me. But I've definitely witnessed examples where they prefer us sexualized. They'll create the narrative for us to be sexualized. And stemming back to the question you had earlier about how has the topics expanded from where it used to be, it's important that we continue to see a huge resurgence of female rap, because we need to tell our story. Whatever it is, it needs to come from us. And we need to build platforms, you know? We need to partner within our communities to have platforms to allow our stories to not be tailored, to be sexualized. And I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that. It's a natural part of, you know, the human process. I personally love it. But we're gonna see a lot of that. Yeah. If we allow our story to be told for us or on their platforms or with their marketing dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, because what I think is important is that we have the option to talk about what we want to talk about, right? So I talked about Traumazine, right? Megan Thee Stallion makes music about sex, but she also has a song called Cobra, where she's talking about her depression, right? And how she had a problem with alcohol, right? Cardi B's new album, she has a song on there called Safe with Kehlani, where she's talking about she wants to have a relationship where she feels safe. She still raps about enjoying having sex or, you know, being provocative, but having the options to talk about different things. So I have another question that you two can answer before we move into our very last section, because we're closing in on time. I know, I'm having such a good time. How can we, as lovers of hip hop, protect black female and femme rappers?
Well, I have the mic, so I guess I'll go ahead and just go and say something. I think that is an easy answer, and it comes from what Lady Farrah just said here, and that is community. If we could come together and work together and empower and inspire each other instead of trying to tear each other down, or it's crazy times. It's crazy times. I think the answer to all of it is just get back to the love. And when you can get back to that and get back to the real, everything's just, it is what it is, you know?
Rage?
I also agree with what you said, and not only standing up for us, defending us, protecting us, speaking up for us. Don't just stand by and let, so many things I see on Instagram and stuff where women are getting knocked out by grown men and people are just filming it. Who's standing up? Malcolm X, I don't know if I'm gonna say it verbatim, said that the black woman was the least, most yeah, exactly. And it's showing. So to have even us as women support each other, because it's been said that women don't get along with each other. We tear each other down more than anybody else. So if our inner circle, our outer circle, community, we all come together and just, hey, love, accept, respect, defend, protect, all of these things I think could be the road to recovery with us. But I wanted to add something when Farrah was talking about what she encountered. I encountered something that bothered me. And is anybody in here under 18? Okay. Well, then.
You can talk about it.
I was going to say it the way it was said to me. Is that okay? All right. So I'm having a conversation with the producer, and he's telling me I have to lose weight. And I'm like, and I was smaller than this. I was fly, I thought. So he was like, you got to lose weight. And I was like, why? Verbatim, niggas got to want to fuck you, Rage. And something kind of went through me because I'm not here for that. And hey, I got an NBA player, professional boxer, football player. They want to already the way I was. Like, what are you saying? But but it was insulting to me. You're minimizing me. Is that what you see me as? Do you hear the stuff I'm writing, the stuff I'm saying? That's what I was basing my skills. Like, don't do that. Don't minimize me to that. And then I was like, well, shoot, I'll probably gain 15 pounds just because you telling me I gotta lose weight. No, I'm not. I'm gonna gain some weight. So, yeah, it was kind of insulting and a little bit humiliating to experience that. So I just wanted to share that. And it probably will continue, but we as women, we got to shut it down at the door. Like, don't talk to me like that. Don't, demand your respect. So.
Yeah, I agree. You can go to the next slide. This is our closing question. And I want to say thank you all for sharing those vulnerable moments, because these are the things that we really need to talk about candidly, right? Because we can't keep pushing it under the rug. You can press play. I don't want to make this long, but this category was introduced in 1989, and 2 women have won. Lauryn Hill, 3 women have won. Lauryn Hill, Cardi B, and Doechii. I put my heart and my soul into this mixtape. I bared my life. I went through so much. I dedicated myself to sobriety, and God told me that I would be rewarded and that He would show me just how good it can get. You can pause it or stop the video. And I have to thank God. So this is what we're going to close out with. 1989 is 2026. 3. Keep that in mind. What I want you all to leave us with is, as we go into the next 50 plus years of hip hop, what do you hope to see for Black women and femmes in hip hop so that we can have more moments like this?
I hope that our vulnerability is rewarded just as much as our strength. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Of course, it's a lot of regard for the Recording Academy and, platforms like that, but back to community, as long as we continue to have a voice, build presence, build space and platforms where we can create dialogue amongst us and where we can create art that relates back to us, I think that's a huge win, just as much as that, if not bigger. So I would like to see more spaces for that. Yeah.
For it to be more acceptable for us to just be ourselves unapologetically, like I said before, to be put in boxes, to be put in labels, to be told that you're supposed to look a certain way, talk a certain way, or that you're supposed to present your image just to get likes and sales and streams. It's not about that. At the end of the day, a lot of us started this because this is what we love. This is innate by nature. This is what it wasn't a decision, you know what I'm saying? It was ordained, divinely orchestrated for us to be in these positions and to sometimes have these stipulations on you or to have certain stigmas or people place these things on you. It's just like, nah, we just here to create. We here to have fun. We here to, again, spread the love, So I would love to see that.
And Rage, can you close us out, please?
With what?
With letting us know what
Father
do you
God,
hope
in the
to
name of
see
Jesus.
in the next 50+ years for women in hip hop?
I would like to see more opportunities, whether it be directors, producers. Missy Elliott is a producer. You don't hear about too many female producers behind the boards, behind the scenes, executives. Women have been second-class citizens for a while back in the day, and we had to fight as women to get the opportunities that we do have. So the WNBA, the just different things that you can compare from those type of things, and we're in a male-dominated field, so we need the guys to help us. I would like to see more support from the guys, propping us up, hey, speaking for us, and just more opportunities for us to go along and have those spaces where we can be accepted and say the things that only we as women can say. I mean, you don't know these things that we go through. So I would like to see that. And I'm sure we as the passers of the torch to the next generation, we're going to see that.
Yes. Give them a round of applause, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Can we get one more round of applause for our guest today? For those of you who don't know, my name is Vaughn Moss. I'm one of the co-founders of the Virginia Hip Hop Foundation. I want to thank you so much for being here. Just having so many people be in this room is very important for a lot of reasons. So please clap for yourselves. Thank you guys so much for being here. A quick shout out to our partners and sponsors. So thank you again to the Virginia Museum of History and Culture for hosting us tonight. Thank you to our media partner, Mostly Sugar. Hopefully you guys know they have a big event coming out on Friday, the Influence Summit. So go out and buy tickets for that. It's going to be a huge reason why we wanted to partner with them is we knew they had this event coming up, and it's very much connected to the conversation that we had here tonight. So please check out their event coming up on Friday. And also a big shout out to our sponsor, Dominion Energy, for supporting this event as well. This event, I want to say, is important to us. We have 3 of the 4 co-founders here, me and Linwood and Chauncey and Ricky couldn't be here today, but it's important for us as 4 dudes, 4 guys. And in all seriousness, in our approach to what we're doing with the foundation, first, we want to make it clear, coming off the heels of Black History Month, hip-hop culture is Black culture. So everything that we do is implied to celebrate Black culture, first of all. But then we also want to show the breadth and the diversity that hip-hop culture can reach so many different communities and so many different social groups. So we wanted to make sure that the women in hip-hop had a chance to be highlighted.
And so the focus of that was knowing that especially black women in the music business, especially in hip hop, women are undervalued and underappreciated. And so we took that very seriously as we decided the different conversations we wanted to host to be able to give space for great women in hip hop to have that moment to share their perspective. So again, thank you so much to our panelists, everyone in our artist panel, and then Mickey and June who were here earlier. So before we leave, we want to have a quick presentation. I will bring out one of our advisory board members, Councilwoman Nicole Jones.
All right. Thank y'all so much for all of your stories and what you bring to the culture, what you bring to hip hop. Thank you for narrating such an amazing panel. And when you are a woman in the city of Richmond on the city council, you get a little bit of privilege to do something. And so one, shout these guys out. Because when they were, working on their things and they came, I got on a Zoom with them. I was like, y'all need some more women in here. I was like, I gotta bring some femininity here, cause they like, we gonna do da da da. I said, so they in good hands, y'all. We working them out. But we just want to present them with this recognition, honor, and celebration for the Virginia Hip Hop Foundation, Virginia Women of Hip Hop. And I'm just not gonna read the whole thing. I'm gonna read about two of them. When I do like this, y'all say whereas, cause they need to feel it. Yeah. So ready? Established in 2025, the Virginia Hip Hop Foundation celebrates Virginia's historic influence on global hip hop culture through storytelling, education, and community engagement. And Virginia is the birthplace of innovation, producing visionary architects of modern culture, musical production, including Timbaland, the Neptunes, Missy Elliott, and others who have defined soundscapes. And women from Virginia have made and continue to make significant and lasting contributions to hip-hop culture locally, nationally, and globally through artistry, media leadership, scholarship, activism, and community engagement. And during Women's History Month, where we get to show off a little bit, in the month of March, it is fitting and proper to recognize and celebrate the influence, experiences, resilience, and impact of Virginia women in hip-hop, and to lift up the next generation of cultural leaders. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Virginia women of hip-hop are hereby recognized, honored, and celebrated for their enormous accomplishments, enduring legacy, continued contributions, a lot of words, and for the critical roles they hold in shaping culture, community, and creative innovation for the past, present, and future generations. This is hereby given to the Virginia Hip Hop Foundation by the Honorable Nicole Jones, 9th District City Council of the City of Richmond.
I'm kind of like the live wire. I know y'all been seeing me run around, but I just want to really say thank you to my team for like this idea. All my ideas that I come up with, they make it happen. And thank you to Lady Rage and Farrah and Justice and Mickey Spencer. Like I said, so many people are at the top of my list. To be in this room, this is the first thing that we're doing. So we're really excited to have the Museum of History and Culture as a partner. And I want y'all just to keep locking in with us and follow us on Instagram. Stuff like that, right?
Shout out to Linwood. So yes, we accept this, but I also want to share this with Dr. K. As I mentioned, 4 dudes coming up with a Women History Month event, we needed somebody to really champion it. So once we had our first conversation with Dr. K and we said, hey, this is what we're trying to do, she took it and ran with it. This whole thing was her baby. And we just created the space for her to cook. So shout out to Dr. K. All right, thank you again for coming. I gotta pay the bills. Remember, we are a nonprofit, so if we can get that QR code back up there real quick. There we go. Yeah, if you can donate, hey, listen, It's crazy out here, so I understand. But if you got it, please share it. Yo, don't let me get started on quantum things up here. Okay. But yes, like, yes, literally every dollar goes back to our mission. And we didn't talk about this, but part of the reason why we are having this partnership with the Virginia Museum of History and Culture is our long-term vision is to build out a full-fledged Virginia hip-hop themed exhibit to celebrate all of the contributions that we have given to hip-hop culture, but also through hip-hop culture. So please donate if you can. Please stay tuned, as Glenn would say, to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you follow us on, our social media and our website to find out more information about our next event, which will be in this room. Stay tuned. And thank you so much. Good night, and happy Women's History Month.